Swaram, the Musicast.
Hi guys, I am your host Purnima Dhokre and you are listening to Swaram, the Musicast. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to the new episode of this podcast. Today we have with us a young artist who plays very old and very rare instrument in this modern world. So this instrument is Dilruba, which is also called as mayuriveena. Apart from this, he also has a deep interest in Indian classical vocals. Even though he is doing engineering, he has kept his roots or has not given up on following his passion for Indian classical music. He has been performing, playing, and participating in various competitions and has won them on zonal, state, and national level. He gave his first stage performance at the age of 10, Chote Ustad, and later made it to top 15 of the very famous reality show Sangeet Samrat, which was telecasted on Zee Yuva. So, to know more about him, his journey, and his beloved instrument, let's meet Hrishikesh Karmarkar. So, hi Hrishikesh, how are you?
Hello. I'm fine.
How have you been doing?
Great. In this lockdown, it's good for music. Lockdowns are good for music. We get ample amount of time to practice and create something new. So yeah, all going nice.
No doubt. So to start with, I want to ask you that Dilruba is like a very rare instrument. So how did you got introduced to it and how did you develop your interest in Dilruba?
Well, actually, this instrument was very extensively used worldwide. Like at least in overall India, it was very much used in early 1800s or early 90s. So when actually the harmonium entered the classical music realm, so from that time this instrument slowly got vanished by time because harmonium was quite easy to learn in
Right.
comparison to this instrument. Yeah. So actually this instrument, let me tell about history of this instrument first.
Okay.
So this instrument is called mayuriveena in Indian terms. It was introduced in Persia. It was made in
Okay.
first. It is said to be a Persian instrument, and its name was Taus. Taus.
House.
Taus. Yeah. So Taus means peacock. We may have heard that Takht Taus. Yeah, we heard that peacock throne of Aurangzeb was called
Right,
Takht
right.
Taus. So yeah, Taus means peacock. So it is called peacock because it sounds like a peacock.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, exactly. It has a sound of peacock. I will just try a bit to show
Yes.
you.
Yes, yes.
So peacock sound. So this
Wow,
is a
that
kind
is
of thing.
beautiful.
Thank you. So that's why when this instrument came to India, it was adopted in Sikh parampara mostly, and which is very close to Afghan and Afghanistan and Persia,
Right.
because of that. So the rabab and the sarangi, saranda, and dilruba, these all instruments directly came to Punjab, and those were adopted very nicely by Punjab tradition, which is called kirtan. They have a
Yes.
Punjabi kirtan, Gurbani Sangeet.
Gurbani, yes.
So they extensively used it. They even say that Maharaj Arjan Dev Singh, the fourth guru, I guess, he made many adjustments with the instrument, and the modern form which we see is created by him only. So later on, this instrument traveled to like Bengal side,
Okay.
towards the Bengal. Yeah, and it was made compulsory in Rabindra Sangeet by Rabindranath Tagore. Yeah, and there this instrument just got some adjustments and improvements, and it was called as Israj.
Okay.
So the instrument, yeah, eventually the instrument is same, but just this body, lower body is different.
Nice.
Yeah, and some quite more changes. Like they have a different playing technique of their instrument. Like we play it like this. This is our technique of the sarangiyang. This is sarangiyang. Usually
Okay.
sarang is also kept like this only.
Yes.
So when this instrument went to Bengal, they created a new technique of keeping it like this.
Ah.
It is quite hard to master. So
You are
this was a
doing
new
it
technique
really
developed.
effortlessly.
No, but it's very hard. So
Right.
basically, they say that when we start Israj, learning Israj in Bengal side, it just take 2 years to hold the instrument correctly and play it right.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's quite easier in North Indian Punjab style. So this is the more significance of this instrument can be said as this plays the gaiki ang.
Okay.
You may have heard about gaiki ang.
Yes.
So in Indian music, vocal music is considered as the topmost,
Supreme. Yeah.
and every other instrument tries their best to imitate the vocal music.
Right.
ऐसा कहते हैं कि गला सबसे पहला साज है, सबसे पहला इंस्ट्रूमेंट इज गला. सो जो भी बाद में सारे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स जो बनते गए, दे ऑल ट्राई टू इमिटेट द वोकल ओनली. And this and sarangi and all the bowing instrument, cause we get a continued tone in bowing. This is a
Correct.
continued tone, not
Yes.
sitar gets a breaking. This is a sitar tone.
Correct.
So there are no breaks in bowing. Because of that, we can get all nuances of classical music and vocal music through this instrument. That's why sarangi and dilruba, these instruments are closest to human voice.
Oh, so is that the reason why you chose? Because I believe you are also a classical singer and you play Dilruba as well. So how does that get, connected or mixed with each other? How did you go from singing to Dilruba or from Dilruba to singing?
Oh, yeah. So basically, the thing is that my focus was on singing only,
Okay.
and it is right now also.
Yes.
There is not any difference. So actually, my mom is also a singer. She is also a classical and light vocalist. So I had a vocal music tradition at my house only.
Okay.
So I was learning from childhood, and my mom always used to say that please learn some instrument. It enhances our singing. So learning some instrument enhances our vocals actually, and we can get many patterns through that, which we won't find through our vocal music practice.
Yes.
So that's why I also, just like our generation, I also wanted to go for guitar or piano. Yeah, it's very quite normal.
It is.
So, but yeah. So one day I went to my aunt's house, and she was having a dilruba which was made in Lahore before partition.
Oh, Lahore.
Yeah. So it was like in their tradition, yeah, and they just have had that instrument kept for 60 to 70 years in their attic. Yeah, she told me that she has that instrument, and I was like, okay, then can I see it? So when she shown me, and she was very grateful, she gave it to me, and she said, take it and you play it if you want. So when I took that instrument, then I started looking for YouTube videos how to play this instrument. First, I didn't had this bow for that instrument, so it was broken. So I used to play it like this. I didn't knew it's a bow instrument. Then when I found it's a bow instrument, I made a bow.
Oh, you made a bow on yourself?
No, I'm learning it actually now. I'm learning to make bow, but then some instrument maker from Nagpur helped me in making this. Yeah, and so we figured it out. Then as I had training for vocal music, and I'm learning at Pandit Subhash Kashalkar at Nagpur only. He's a elder brother of Padma Shri Ullas Kashalkar.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I'm having my vocal lessons from him. So due to that, what he used to teach me in the class, I used to imitate this on Dilruba when I came home. So that's how my practice started, and so it's a travel.
This is so nice. I mean, having something from your previous generations and you're carrying it forward. That is something that these days people or our generation do not consider it as much, but you did it so well and you went with it to a reality show. So how was that?
Actually, the thing was, I never expected to take this instrument to the reality show.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Because I was learning that instrument at that time, and I went there for vocals. So if you know my journey, my first 3 episodes were in vocal music.
Okay.
And I gave my audition through vocals, and I had my first episode also through vocals. And then they got to know that I am playing this instrument, which is quite rare.
Right.
So, and you will also get a good exposure for this instrument. That show had 15 singers, but only one Dilruba player.
That
So
is
they
amazing.
so they requested me to uh, get this Dilruba in this competition,
Hmm.
and eventually I switched to this. So that was my travel for reality show. I never expected to play Dilruba on that level because I was just practicing then. I was like had this instrument for 3 years only when I went to the reality show.
Hmm.
So it was quite unexpected there.
But you made it to top 15. I mean, that is like
Yeah,
very nice achievement. And you have
that's
also
all
won.
my guruji's.
Yeah. So, yeah, so you have touched like top 15 and you have won some National Youth Festival awards and everything. So, do you think that, I mean, there is some kind of consistency and you give your time to your riyas and everything. So,
Hmm.
how do you think that is beneficial for you, or every classical practitioner should do it?
No, it is said that जो रियाज करेगा वही राज करेगा. So this is a very popular saying in Indian classical community. So the thing is that actually my practicing vocals and practicing Dilruba were never different because this is a gaiki young instrument. What I used to sing, I can same imitate on this. So like just
Right.
I will give you example. Hmm. Re na re re na 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 re na na re na na. So I used to practice in a similar manner. Many times I used to sit for vocal riyaz and instrument riyaz at same time. And many times we have the problem like gala baith jata hai, sore throat and all. So at that time I used to practice this in kind of.
Right.
So the riyaz used to go simultaneously. So there wasn't any difference in it.
I
Like
think
all the practice of paltas.
this is very
Yeah.
fortunate thing, that you are able to practice both the things together, right? So I think
And it's a quite difficult also because your mind is in three things. One is vocals, second is on this hand, third is on this hand. So it gets quite complicated. But
yes,
yeah, eventually with practice we can go.
yeah, and you're doing it pretty well, I see. Yeah. So
Actually, my inspirations were all those Rajasthani folk instruments which they player used to play. So they were like they are playing this instrument and singing at the same time, like केसरिया बालम आओ रे पधारो मारे देश रे पधारो मारे देश. So if they can do it, I can also do it. So that was a motivation for
amazing,
me.
amazing. This is really amazing. I'm getting fascinated by this. I mean, Dilruba and you singing along with it. It is really nice to hear. To even for the visuals, it is very nice. I must say. So
Thank you.
Dilruba is very old instrument, of course, and it has been played in many old songs. I know that, but are there like any new songs that has Dilruba in or as music?
Uh, yeah, there are many songs. First of all, this instrument, as I'm holding one, is a 120 years old instrument.
Wow, like you are
Yeah, so
holding
this
the
is
120 years.
yeah old heritage
Oh
in my
my
hand.
god, exactly.
So of course this instrument is very old and this instrument, but in comparison of instruments, this instrument is counted as a newer instrument
Okay.
because this instrument has history of last 300 years only. And many instruments like violin, rudraveena, and all are like from Vedas and Puranas. So
Hmm.
in that context, it's a quite new instrument, but yeah, it's an old instrument.
Yeah.
And for your second question, like there are many players who are playing in Bollywood, leadingly Arshad Khan ji of Delhi. So he has played for many songs like Dilbaro from Razi.
Oh.
Yeah, so that has like Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. So actually, this instrument contributes much to that Kashmiri touch of
Correct. The
Kashmiri
North
valleys
Indian
and all.
side of the
Yeah,
country.
exactly. So Shankar Mahadevan is using this instrument very widely.
Okay.
In yeah, even that Noore Khuda,
Yes.
that song also has Dilruba
Dilruba.
or Israj played by Arshad Khanji only. So
Mm,
yeah, there are many new songs also, and in older times, Opinier Saab, like it is used in Deewana Hua Badal. That song has Israj. Then Tere Mere Sapne,
yes.
yeah,
I think
that
this
song also has.
our generation is really unaware of these instruments, the heritage or our culture. They're very unaware of it. Just like the people like you, the people who are interested and are contributing towards classical music know this. So I'm very, grateful to be able to conduct this. So
Thank you, my pleasure.
yeah, so that's what. And I would like to ask that what inspires you to, continue your journey in classical music?
Oh, inspiration for classical music is that it's kind of if Indian classical music we can think it like a cyclone. Like we are very scared of it when we are away from it. Like oh, it's so dangerous. And once we get into that, we go to the core only, and we don't stop until we go there. So it just sucks you inside, and once you get in it, then you don't wanna leave that freedom. And basically people say that classical music is very hard, complicated, but once we get into it, then we can know that Indian classical music gives us the most freedom than any classical music of any other types, like Western classical music cannot
Right.
give. So Indian classical music is gives us great freedom. Each rag is just a boundaries, and we have to swim in that boundaries. It's our way how we swim. So that's the main freedom. And another thing we can see of classical music is we don't need any setting. So if tomorrow we have performance in Pune, so I'm getting from Nagpur, my tabla player is getting from Pune, and my other harmonium player is from Kolkata. So we three can come together at stage and perform at same time without any practice.
Yes.
So that's the beauty of classical music. It's universal, and that I think is the most great thing about Indian
You have
classical
said
music.
exactly. You have said something really amazing, and like you have touched the core of it. You have cracked the code, I would say.
Learning, and there is much more to learn.
Yes, right. So, like you're talking about learning, the last question or last thing I would want you to do is what would you like to tell the new generation or even new people who wants to enter or are entering into the ocean of classical music?
Actually, I'm no one to tell them because I am just a beginner in classical music. But yeah, if I want to tell, then I will just tell one thing, that patience is the key. In our today's world where we are just looking for 1 minute videos on Instagram or 30-second reel, that's the highest thing we can see. We can understand the 1 hour long classical music performances. That's when we can achieve the beauty of it. And slow and steady wins the race. That's the only thing. मतलब कितना भी रिकॉर्डिंग्स या फिर कितना भी डिजिटल साउंड्स ले लो, लेकिन जो अकूस्टिक में मजा है वो अकूस्टिक का ही है. So that cannot be achieved through any technology. And this instrument should live. It deserves to live, and we should keep it forward by learning it.
And you are doing a great job or great thing by continuing it.
Thank you so much.
Be out there and do something in classical music. I'm really grateful for you about that, and thank you so much for coming to my podcast and being here.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alright, guys, so this was another episode of podcast with another youngster. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you all did too. And if you really did, do let us know so that I can come up with more such podcasts. See you in the next episode, and until then, stay tuned. Swaram, the Musicast.